We're talking about Amarjeet Sada, an 8-year-old boy who's probably the youngest.
Ain't no way that kid killed anyone. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Soldaya, and in this video, we gonna be reacting to the youngest serial killers ever. This gonna be a good one, so without any time waste, let's get right into it.
These two kids actually murdered a 2-year-old boy.
2-year-old is crazy, and murdered by kids nonetheless. That's insane.
You ever hear the term, "F them kids"? Well, this is exactly why. These kids are actually...
Hold on, ain't no way these are the two kids who murdered the child. No, I don't believe it. They look to be around like 8. Nah, that's crazy. Like, look at them.
The worst in British history. Alright, so let's rewind to February 12th, 1993. And this is the case of John Venables and Robert Thompson.
Yo, those are some British ass names. I can't even lie.
Two 10-year-old kids. Yeah, you heard me right. Holy crap, 10-year-old kids. These two kids managed to do something so awful that it left the entire country asking how kids could be so...
No, cause like when I was 10, I was just playing Pokemon, watching cartoons, not thinking about killing people. That's crazy.
Oh, evil. But wait, let's start from the beginning. So John Venables and Robert Thompson were just two kids growing up in Liverpool, England. And they weren't exactly the type to bring home gold stars on their homework. Both of them came from rough, unstable homes.
Damn, it's always the people who come from like rough and unstable homes. Like, I'm seeing the correlation.
Venables was known to be pretty chaotic and had an abusive family life. His parents were separated and neither one cared much for him. And Thompson's mom, well, let's just say she wasn't winning any Parent of the Year awards either. She was a heavy drinker and he was one of 7 kids.
I feel like parents don't really be not all parents, of course, but there's a select few parents that don't really be understanding that what you do affects how your children are going to grow up. But it seems like these kids did something crazy at only the age of 10, so let's see.
Who didn't get much care? February 12th, 1993, Venables and Thompson decided to skip school. I mean, kids skipping school, yeah, not really that shocking.
Shit, I was skipping school almost like every day. Stay in school though, that's not something to be proud of.
But it's what they did after that was truly evil. Now imagine this, it's a normal day at the New Strand Shopping Center in Bootle. Leave it to the British to name an area Bootle. I can already see the comments now. Well, at least our schools aren't shooting ranges. Yeah, so Venables and Thompson were wandering around the mall having skipped school to do, you know, kid stuff. Like trying to steal whatever they could get their hands on, but that wasn't enough for them.
I don't know if trying to steal whatever they can get their hands on is typical kid stuff.
Nope, they had something a lot worse in mind. So at some point during their mall stealing, the boys noticed a...
Wait, is this the kid that like they killed or...
A 2-year-old named James Bulger. He was with his mom, Denise, but as every parent knows, it's impossible to keep an eye on your kid 24/7. In one split second, just one, Denise looked away and Venables and Thompson made their move. Want some Pokemon cards? I mean, the poor kid responded probably with like goo goo gaga. I mean, the kid was like 2 years old.
Yeah, the kid can't even talk. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think kids talk like that when they're like 2 years old.
And come on. So one step at a time, pretending to be his friend, they led James away from the store and his mother would never see him again. Yep. 2 kids took another kid. And like you would expect, crazy. No one noticed. I mean, these were just kids being themselves.
Normally, you'd be expecting grown-ass men to just go ahead and like take kids, bro, because for some reason, that's what some of them like to do these days. It's crazy.
Right? People even saw them walking with the little James, but they honestly thought nothing of it. It was like, oh, how sweet, big brother's taking care of the little guy. If only they knew. They took James on a nearly 2.5-mile walk through Liverpool. And yes, you're probably wondering, why didn't anyone stop them? Well, several people did actually notice, but when Venables and Thompson said James was their brother, or that
yeah, because like, what are you supposed to say? They're just gonna be like, yeah, it's my little brother. They're not gonna suspect 10-year-olds are gonna kill a 2-year-old. No one's gonna be expecting that.
was just lost, everyone just shrugged it off. So like after wandering the streets for hours, the boys led James to a railway. Now let me just say this right now, what happens next is awful and viewer discretion is advised. The boys start by torturing James. And for obvious reasons, I'm not gonna draw the kid in these scenes because like come on. Anyways, they threw bricks and stones at him, they
What?
kicked him and even shoved paint into his eyes.
What? No, that's crazy. No, what? And mind you, they're 10-year-old people. I can't even talk.
I mean, can you even imagine? This is a 2-year-old kid we're talking about. He didn't stand a chance. At some point during this brutal attack, Venables and Thompson dropped James on his head, which is probably what finally unalived him.
I'm in like disbelief right now, cause like, what is the point? Like, why? I'm seeing they went to go take it from the mall and walk to just do all this. Like, what is the reason? Why at 10 years old would you think of doing something so crazy? I just don't get it.
Then, in one final act, they placed his lifeless body on the train tracks of Walton and Anfield Station in Liverpool, hoping a train would hit him and cover up what they did. The train...
That's insane. Like, that's evil.
Like you would expect, did eventually run over James, but by that time he was already dead. And these sick 10-year-old kids went home like nothing happened. Now, as you would imagine, when James was reported...
Yo, if they're doing this at 10, imagine what type of monsters they're gonna become as adults. Like, just thinking about it is making my skin crawl. Ugh.
Missing, and the boy's mom was going crazy. Scared for her little boy, the police jumped to action. But with no leads and no...
I feel so bad for the mom that a 2-year-old had to go through that. Like, imagine how much he suffered. Like, rest in peace to that 2-year-old. These kids, like, that's insane.
No real idea of what happened, they worked against the clock. It wasn't until 2 days later, on February 14th, that
Valentine's Day,
James's body was found still on the tracks and hit by the train. But the authorities saw the injuries on the kid and thought, hey, it just could have been from the train. But since when do trains throw rocks? And hold on, let me tell you, it was so brutal that the police initially thought an adult must have done this. But
no, that's a fact. For the police to think that was gonna be an adult, that's how you know those two kids were like, they went insane.
surprise! The real shock came when CCTV footage from the shopping mall was released. It showed James walking with the two monsters that were only 10 years old. And box heads, let me tell you, the public was stunned. I mean, everyone was expecting some shadowy figure, some monstrous adult, but it was...
No, cause like imagine this. Imagine you find out a child gets like kidnapped, right? And like killed, brutally killed. You would expect that it would be like some grown weirdo, but no, it was by kids themselves. That just boggles my mind, bro, how some kids could be so evil.
Those two kids. On February 20th, 1993, Venables and Thompson were arrested. Drop the Pokemon cards and put your hands in the air. And get this, when they were taken in for...
Was Pokemon even like a thing back then? I'm not even sure.
Questioning, neither of them showed any real remorse. Venables cried during his confession, but honestly, it was hard to tell if it was out of guilt or fear of him getting caught. Thompson, on the other hand, was cold as ice. Like...
Yeah, I can't lie. These two kids are both psychopaths. Like, legit, they're psychopaths. Hopefully they're put to jail, because if you let them live, they're definitely gonna become the next Jeffrey Dahmer or some shit, bro. Because that's not normal.
How does a 10-year-old even process what he just did?
I'm saying.
Their trial became a circus. These two boys weren't even teenagers yet, but they were being tried as adults. Good, buddy. Good.
Good for them, because with a crime like that, you deserve the penalty, bro. That's crazy.
Your goddamn crumpets in jail, you sick fuck. Anyways, now imagine that. Kids in court being held responsible for one of the most disgusting freaking crimes the UK had ever seen, topping even the great Tea and Crumpets heist of 1990. Trigger...
What the hell is that? Tea and Crumpets heist?
Warning for the British. Just kidding. That's not real, but guys, the dentists are. Okay, enough for the jokes. My bad. I forgot to mention that during the trial, it came out that Venables and Thompson had actually planned all of this. Nope.
Plan to... No, are you sure these are kids? Like, are you sure these are not just grown men somehow trapped in the body of a kid? Because what you mean they planned all of this?
It wasn't just a random thing. They had actually tried to kidnap another child earlier that day, but the kid's mom intervened. They found all of this out during a witness testimony. The mom
That's
just
crazy.
scolded the boys and they ran off. Yeah, you heard me correctly. They had every intention of doing this from the start. Wanna trade a Pokemon card? Nah, let's just murder. Like what?
That's crazy.
Venables and Thompson were convicted of James Bulger's murder in November 1990.
Venables, bro. That's the first time I've ever heard the name Venables. The more I think about it, that gotta be some British ass, UK ass name.
They were sentenced to be held at Her Majesty's pleasure, which is really
Funny enough, I actually spent a decent amount of my life in the UK as well when I was younger.
British way of saying that they were locked up for good. But here's the part that really gets people and even me. They were both released in 2001 when they were
Ain't no way y'all released them. What? Wait, what you mean they were both released? This, yo. With a crime like that, you can't just release these children back into the wild and expect everything to go smooth. Are y'all stupid? They're gonna obviously do another crime.
just 18 years old. Yep, they just got new identities and tried to live their lives like nothing happened. I mean, isn't that gross? The same kids who brutally murdered a young toddler were released back into society like, nothing happened.
I'm gonna need to go do my research about this because ain't no way they released them back and nothing happened. Because I'm sure they did something else after they got released back, because normal kids don't just do that and become normal. Nah, that's crazy.
Venables, though, couldn't seem to keep his life together after his release. He was arrested in 2010 for possessing child videos, which
Yeah, I already knew this guy was gonna be some sort of freak, bro, because ain't no way someone who did that is gonna be normal.
not going to talk more about that. Let's just say not exactly shocking, right? He was sent back to prison and was released again in 2013, and then...
Yo, keep them in prison, bro. They're for the prison. Stop releasing them back to the streets, bro. Keep them in the prison.
Because he clearly didn't learn, he was busted again in 2017 for, you guessed it, more child, This time he
That's crazy.
got a 40-month sentence. Okay, couldn't they just axe this guy? Like, he's not learning clearly.
No, he's not. People like the justice system just be making me mad sometimes. Like, this guy's not learning.
Gosh. And as for Thompson, well, not much is known about him. I mean, he's been flying under the radar, successfully staying out of the limelight. Okay.
Yeah, I already know that guy's doing some real messed up stuff. He just knows how to hide it better than his brother.
Okay, so that last one was rough, but it doesn't get any better. You've probably heard some wild stories before, probably here on the page, but this one, it's on a whole nother level.
Bet, let's see.
We're talking about Amarjeet Sada, an 8-year-old boy who's probably the youngest.
Ain't no way that kid killed anyone. 8 years old and looking like that? Nah, that kid don't even look like he could harm a fly. Ain't no way he killed anyone.
Damn serial killer in history. Don't quote me on that. So Amarjeet Sada was born in 1998 in the village of Begusaraya in the Indian state Bihar. You're probably picturing a small, tight-knit community where everyone knows each other, and you'd be right. Amarjeet came
that's
from
what I
an
was thinking.
extremely poor family. His dad scrapped together whatever work he could find, and like many families, life wasn't exactly easy for them. But what no one realized was just how much darkness had already crept into Amarjeet's young mind. Amarjeet did something absolutely disgusting and killed his first victim. Who was that? It was his own cousin, a 6-month-old baby.
What? That's wild.
Amarjeet lured his baby cousin away from the family's watchful eyes and brutally assassinated her. After killing his cousin, you'd think someone would report this, right? Well, not quite. The family, for reasons that still boggle my box mind, decided to stay quiet.
What? This family's an idiot. Like, why would you stay quiet when a child, an 8-year-old boy, just murdered his cousin? I don't think that's something to stay quiet about.
Some think that it's just out of shame or fear of looking like bad parents, but regardless of why, no one called the authorities and Amarjeet walked away without any punishment. And if you're thinking, okay, well, that's an isolated incident, surely that was the end of it. Well, you would be, in fact, box dead wrong. Fast forward a bit and we've got another victim. This time it was Amarjeet's own baby sister who was less than a year old.
What is wrong with this kid? Like, no, dead ass. What is wrong with this kid? Like, this is literally a serial killer.
Yeah, you heard that correctly. He killed his own sister. And he did it exactly the same way as before, luring her away and ending her life before anyone could stop him. And again, the family didn't say a word. I mean, could you imagine 2 infants from the same family brutally killed by their 8-year-old son? And
are you sure the family's not like in on it or something like that? Cause like, what do you mean the family's not saying a word? Like, what are they doing? This video is just making me mad right now, because what is the family doing right now? Like, what?
Then they just stayed quiet? Once again, my mind, in its box shape, be boggling, bro. And you have to
Sometimes people just don't even be making sense, bro. They don't be thinking.
ask, what was going on with Amarjeet? I mean, was the kid just evil?
Like, actually, the more I look at it, the more, like, I really look at it, the kid, he do look like someone who would do something like that. Really, the more I look at it, I can see some, yeah, nah, this kid ain't normal.
No one can really say for sure, and it's not like anyone was rushing to get help at this point either. So naturally, this story did not stop here. Here's where things go from a box to a goddamn head. Amarjeet's third victim was the neighbor's baby girl, only
The neighbors too? No, and I blame this all on the parents, because what do you mean they just stood there and did nothing? They didn't report nothing. Like, what?
6 months old. Yeah, you could probably see a pattern forming here. This kid had some sort of obsession with unaliving babies. On this particular day in 2007, Amarjeet found the perfect opportunity. The baby's mother, likely trusting that no one in her small village would harm her tiny baby child, left her daughter unattended reportedly at a small school. You know, just for a little bit. And that's all Amarjeet needed. He took the baby, carried her off to a
Because no one would expect a kid, like, I don't blame her, because no one would really expect a kid to come snatch her baby up, but at the same time, leaving your baby unattended, even for like a little bit amount of time, is kind of wild.
Secluded area, and well, you know the rest. When the body was found this time, the truth could not stay buried. The locals quickly connected the dots, realizing that Amarjeet had been around during the time of the baby's disappearance. And when they confronted him, he calmly admitted to the murder. Amarjeet, are you killing babies again? No, Papa, no. Telling lies? Kicks a rock. Some box heads in the comments might ask, why is my Indian accent so well? I don't know.
Low-key, he was cooking with that accent.
More box head lore. Anyways, this 8-year-old boy casually confessed to killing not just this baby, but the other 2 as well. No remorse, no tears, like he did not care. When Amarjeet was arrested,
Like, this gotta be a serial killer trapped in a kid's body, because what the hell? I don't know not one other way to explain this shit.
in 2007, the police were just in shock. They had never dealt with anything like this before. An 8-year-old serial killer? Like, even I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, neither have I. That's why I'm like, this video is insane.
I mean, my job is literally to cover the weirdest, most shocking, most disgusting stories on the internet, which if you
And my job's to react to them.
want to hear more, hit that subscribe button, but that's besides the point. Anyways, according to reports, when asked why he did it, Amarjeet simply smiled. The boy's family finally spoke up after his arrest, admitting that they knew about the earlier murders but didn't report them. I mean, you'd think after the first death, something would have clicked, right? But since this part of the world doesn't have much law enforcement, the parents were not arrested for the cover-up.
They weren't arrested? That's wild.
I mean, what do you guys think? Comment if you think that's fair. Like, should they have got in trouble? I don't know. Not
100% they should have got in trouble, because what? What you mean your child killed 2 people, right? And you didn't say nothing. You didn't bring it up to any sort of authorities, nothing like that. You just kept quiet so we can go on this killing spree. Lock the parents up too.
for me to say. But no, they decided to stay quiet, and these 3 innocent babies lost their lives because of this monster and I guess the people that helped him. Amarjit was placed in a juvenile detention facility, which is kids jail if you didn't know, which is where things again get a little bit complicated. You
Don't tell me he's out here killing kids in the jail.
see, in India, the legal system is a bit different when it comes to child criminals. At the time of his arrest, Indian law didn't allow children under the age of 18 to be formally charged with murder. So
What?
Amarjit was sent to a children's home instead of a prison. And since juvenile records are sealed, there's been little information about what happened to him since. He could be out there in the world right now. Like, seriously, he could.
That's just scary to think about. Like, he's probably a grown-ass man now, still killing kids. And we wouldn't even know because there's no records of him. And he's in a country where, like, I feel like in that part of the country, like, things don't, like, the justice system isn't as good. Like, I don't know.
Be watching this video. Weird. This next child murderer is actually a little girl. Ooh, fight the patriarchy.
Little girl this time. Like, holy shit. How do, like, what? When I was a kid, I was not thinking about this. This is just wild.
Kidding. Okay, so her name was Mary Bell, who, you guessed it, was another child killer.
Ain't no way she was killing people. Like, what?
In 1968, an 11-year-old girl from Newcastle, England, got some fame for doing things most children don't even think is possible, which is, again, killing people. First, let's rewind to Mary's childhood because, trust me, it's a big part of understanding how all this even happened. Mary Bell was born on May 26, 1957, to Betty Bell, who was a lady of the night, we'll say. With the father, you may have guessed it, being a lady of the night is unknown. In fact, Betty reportedly tried to give Mary away multiple times, and she abused her daughter both physically and emotionally. I mean, how's that for a loving start in life, right?
Yeah, like I said in the beginning of the video, parents really need to, like, check up on their children, like, because this stuff is crazy.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that there's strong evidence that Betty forced Mary to engage in, you know, weird kind of acts with her clients when she was as young as 5 years old.
That's insane. Like, I'm speechless.
On May 25th, 1968, just a day before Mary's 11th birthday, she committed her first murder. Her victim, 4-year-old Martin Brown. Mary knew Martin from their neighborhood. I mean, she lured Martin into an abandoned house in the area that the kids would play at. That's where she strangled him to death. Then, after killing him, she just walked away. No remorse, no panic. It's as if she didn't quite grasp the gravity of what she just did. There wasn't a missing persons report. His body was found shortly after by other kids that were, you know, playing there. The thing is, at first, no one suspected a murderer, and Martin's death was ruled an accident. They thought he just fell somewhere. There were no visible signs
Wait, isn't there, like, wait,
of trauma, and the idea that a little
how did she kill him, though, if there was no visible signs of trauma? What did she do?
girl would have killed him? Well, no one was thinking along those lines. So, like you would expect, the case was closed temporarily. Now, if you're thinking good old Mary Bell would lay low after her first murder, well, I mean, this is where you're wrong. Just a few days later, Mary and her friend Norma Bell, they got the same last name, but no relation. It's just a weird coincidence. Anyways, they broke into a nursery and trashed the place. They wrote disturbing messages like, "I murder so that I may come back."
What? And keep in mind, an 11-year-old child is saying this. Now, thanks to this video, I'm going to be wary of kids.
And we did murder Martin Brown. Yeah.
Basically confessing her own crimes, writing it down. What the hell kind of witch?
Talk about a crazy cry for attention, am I right? But get this, the police brushed it off like it was some prank.
What? Yeah, sometimes cops can just be so dumb. Like, what? The amount of times I've heard cops be brushing up important shit, and then until something really bad happens, is mind-boggling.
I mean, what are the odds that 2 little girls would be actually confessing to a murder? Maybe the cops should listen a little bit more. Then came the second murder. On July 31st, 1968, just 2 months after Martin Brown's death, Mary struck again. This time her victim was 3-year-old Brian Howe. Now, Mary's behavior...
That's wild, bro. See, the cops let it go, and now another person gets killed.
During this murder was even more disturbing. She strangled Brian just like she'd done with Martin, but this time she took...
Wait, so she strangled the other guy, but how did the cops not see any like strangle marks on like the guy's neck or something like that? I don't get it. Usually when you strangle someone, they'll be able to... Actually, this took place in the 1950s. I'm looking too deep into it. I'm sure in the 1950s, the technology wasn't this advanced.
It a bit further. After Brian was dead, she mutilated his body with scissors.
What the fuck?
Yeah, scissors, cutting his hair and scratching up his legs. She even carved an M for Mary into his stomach. If you didn't already think that this case was horrifying enough, this part should really make you cringe. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Mary's accomplice in the second murder was once again her friend Norma Bell. After Brian's body was found,
that's crazy.
Police quickly realized that this wasn't an accident. They suspected murder this time. And that's when they started putting the pieces together. So, how did the police catch Mary Bell? Well, it turns out that Mary couldn't keep her mouth shut. She started acting strangely, asking neighbors if they missed Brian, and even taking people to the scene of the crime as if she wanted to relive the moment.
What the hell?
She also made comments to the police saying things like, "I know what happened to Brian because I saw him last." Not exactly subtle. When police began questioning local children, both Mary and...
She's basically giving it up herself. Like, what?
And Norma's names kept coming up. Witnesses said that they kept seeing the two girls with Brian on the day...
Low-key, if you really pay attention, like, if you look at her eyes right now, bruh, that ain't normal. Those eyes are not normal.
Of his murder, and their suspicious behavior made them prime suspects. During interrogations, Mary tried to pin the blame on Norma, but it didn't take long for the police to figure out who the real leader was. On August 7th, 1968, Mary Bell was officially arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder. And for you guys wondering, she was only 11 years old. Yeah, you heard me.
She better be charged as an adult, bro, because I don't want to hear she's just a kid who brutally murdered 2 people.
Correctly, an 11-year-old girl was charged with murdering 2 toddlers. Mary's trial began in December 1968, and let me tell you, it was a mess. People were fascinated and yet horrified by the idea of a child killer. Like perhaps you watching this video. The prosecution argued that Mary was fully aware of what she was doing and that her actions were deliberate and calculated. But the defense claimed that Mary suffered from a personality disorder.
What how are you defending this? Like, what?
And lacked the emotional capacity to understand the full extent of her crimes.
I don't give a fuck. Lock her up.
Plus, this was a time when people didn't really know what to make of child criminals. She was evil, or she was just a product of her environment. I guess we...
Combination of both, I bet, to be honest.
Still kind of don't know that. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments? In the end, Mary was convicted of manslaughter, not murder, because the jury accepted that she was suffering from a psychopathic disorder. Mary Bell was sentenced and detained at Her Majesty's pleasure, which again is British for possibly forever. Now imagine that, being 11 years old and sentenced to who knows how many years behind bars. So what happened to Mary after all of this? Well, she served 12 years in various institutions before being released in 1980 at the age of 23. And
I know damn well she didn't stop at that.
Get this, when she was released, she was given a new identity to protect her from the public. I mean, can you really blame them? A child killer out in the world with a real name? Yeah, that would have been a media frenzy.
100%.
But that's not quite where the story ends. In 1998, Mary Bell co-authored a book with a journalist, Gita Sereni, titled Cries Unheard: The Story of Mary Bell. In it,
she
gives her story of the murders and blames much of her actions on the abuse she suffered at the hands of her mother, which I told you at the beginning. The book was met with outrage from the families of her victims, and understandably so. But listen,
I can't lie. This video was a wild ass watch. Like, this was a wild watch. Cause like I said in the beginning, when I was around like 8, 10, I was just playing Pokemon, watching Beyblade, Bakugan, anime, just all types of normal stuff kids would do. Not thinking about murdering people. Like, what has to go wrong in your mind for that to come up? For you to be able to murder someone as a little kid. I just don't get that, bro. I just don't get that at all. But if y'all enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm gonna catch you on my next video. Peace.